Come have a seat and sip some tea. It's tech, entertainment, and art.
I am excited for today's episode, Abdul. You excited?
I'm super excited. Should we get right into it?
Yeah, let's do it. Welcome, everybody.
Awesome.
I still have Abdul's job. His job is to welcome you. Sorry. Go for it.
No, bro. We can alternate. Welcoming people is exhausting.
Oh man. You go for it, Abdul. You're prepared.
See, I told you, bro. I told you.
I'm already tired.
You barely even tried and you're already exhausted. Okay. We're gonna start right off the bat with corrections. With the corrections portion of the show. So I don't have any corrections for this episode. However, we did have someone reach out to us with not so much of a correction, but more of a thought or a fun fact about something that we said on our previous episode. And his name is Ivan from Puerto Rico. And like I told you before we started recording, we're not gonna share anyone's full name in this show just to protect people's privacy, but we are gonna mention their first name and where they're from, so you know who we're talking about, and so your family and friends
just first names, where they're from, social securities, bank accounts, routing numbers. Simple That's stuff. Simple stuff.
That's it. And yeah, because I know how cool it is to have your increase read on the air, and we want to give that to our audience. So we encourage everyone to reach out to us with any questions, requests, thoughts, and ideas. We take requests, by the way, if you guys didn't know. If you want us to talk about something in particular that has to do with technology, entertainment, and art, which is basically everything on Earth, it can fit into those three categories. So pretty much anything, just go ahead and talk to us about, or go ahead and reach out to us about it, and we can talk to you about that. Like, let's say that, like, you want to know about the latest drone, and you don't want to Google it. You don't want to take the time to Google it. You want Sean to do that work for you.
Do the research and wait for an episode to respond to you in a month.
Wait a week or two to get that information. Totally. No, I mean, if you reach out to us, it's gonna be probably because you want to hear our thoughts on that matter or piece of technology or whatever.
What did Ivan say?
Okay, yeah, very good. Sean always steering the ship back into course. So Ivan said, from Puerto Rico, he talked to us about soccer. You remember that on our last episode we talked about it, and you had mentioned the interesting thought that maybe soccer wasn't as popular in the United States because we call it soccer, and that's not a cool name at all. Well, actually, Ivan told us that way back when football or soccer was starting out in Europe, there was another sport that was very popular, and it was rugby. And rugby players used to make fun at the soccer players by calling their sport and their association more specifically soccer. Soccer is supposed to be sort of an abbreviation of association.
Like, so that's how it was like a derogatory term, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was a derogatory term, precisely. And so the reason why it does sound strange and not very cool is because it was actually invented as a derogatory term. But we've sort of made it our own and embraced it, and now it's not a derogatory term anymore.
And he said it was from England, right? Cool. Was where they said soccer.
Yeah, from England.
Soccer.
So that
soccer. What? Look at those suckers.
And that's interesting because this is a little bit of a fun fact, but I don't know if we should share this with our audiences. We're family friendly, but we're gonna stay PG anyway. We're just giving you the facts, and you can do whatever you want with them. But there's another derogatory thing that we do here in the United States, and that is the middle finger, and that also. Why am I talking about that? Because that also originated from England, and it was because English archers were very good, especially because they used the English longbow. And the French, when they fought against English armies, they would capture archers and they would cut that finger so that they wouldn't be able to use the bow because they were so good at it. And so what happened is that when the Englishmen would fight the Frenchmen, the archers would give them the middle finger as saying like, "Hey, we actually have it. So you're in for a good some good archery coming your way."
Huh.
So I think that they embrace in soccer kind of comes from that kind of same spirit of taking something that's derogatory or bad and then just kind of making it their own.
I was wondering how you're going to tie that in with the soccer thing, and I'm pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, that's right.
I was like, man, it's just a random trek down Abdiel's mind right now. We're just...
Yeah, but please, everyone out there that's listening, don't give the middle finger to anyone.
No.
Be decent. Be civil.
Don't do that.
That's not an appropriate thing to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's
so yeah, that's
on your mind, right?
Oh, okay. So
sorry.
do you have any corrections?
No, I don't. I don't have any other corrections.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, so that was the one thing. Thank you, Ivan, for reaching out to us.
Yeah, thanks, Ivan.
Yeah, he did so through the YouTube comments. So everyone else out there, please feel free to follow his example and reach out to us in that way. Okay, so Sean, you were saying.
What's on your mind, Abdiel?
What is on my mind? So it's video game related, and I'm gonna be talking about video games a lot probably this year because we are in a year where the new console is gonna release. Every 5 or 6 years, new video game consoles release, and this is one of those years. So there's a lot of talk going on around that. And so anyway, Sony recently revealed the PS5 controller. So not the PS5 console. We don't know what the PS5 console is or it's gonna look like. We only know technical specs, but we haven't seen the box yet.
Do you have a picture that I could see, Abdiel? No, I could probably.
Absolutely. I actually yes.
You want to screen share that with me?
The
readers,
yes,
the listeners can't. If you're reading our podcast, first of all, kudos to whoever transcribed our podcast. But the listeners probably can't see this, but it's accessible on Google. I'm assuming, right, Abdiel?
Absolutely, yeah. Just go ahead and Google PS5 controller, or you can also Google DualSense. That's just one word, DualSense, capital D, capital S. That's the name. That's the actual name of the
Dual sensor. Is that what that's referring to?
DualSense is the name. What did you say?
Why is it called that? What is it? Is that an abbreviation?
A very, very good question. Very good question. We're gonna get into that. So let me show you the picture real quick. You see it?
I like it. Simple, sleek.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. This is a close-up picture of it. This is a sideway picture of it, real quick. You can see the texture there on the joystick. Really
that looks
nice.
like a remote that you could like. It's funny how like the remotes like for video games went from like very simplistic, right? Nintendo controllers.
Yeah.
And then like they just got crazy. There's like this point in like the 90s, 2000s, to, like at the Xbox, like the Duke thing was like,
man,
that thing was gigantic.
You could beat someone with that controller.
That's it was a weapon. But anyway.
And the GameCube controller was crazy because it was like purple and yellow buttons and a green stick, and it was all over the place.
It had like a C stick and a joystick and then a directional pad.
That's right.
Why?
That's right. But anyway, so as I was saying, so I'm gonna describe it real quick, just for the sake of the conversation, and for the audience that is not watching a picture right now. It has offset colors. It's white and black. It has 2 parallel analog sticks. It has a directional pad. It has the 4 face buttons: triangle, square, circle, cross. It has an options button. It has a create button. We'll talk about that later. It has a touchpad in the middle. The touchpad is sort of square shaped, and around the touchpad there's a light. There's a blue light that you can. That light, we've had it before on the PS4. Not like that. It was more of a bar. Now it's just kind of like a really slick outline around the controller or around the touchpad, and that color will change depending on what player you are. So if player 1 is blue, player 2 is red, Player 3, I think, is like orange, and so on and so forth. Player 4 is green. Yeah, so it's a very interesting concept. It's a departure from the previous controllers that PlayStation has had. The previous controllers actually were even called differently. They were called a Dual Shock, and that was in reference to the rumble functionality, right? So controllers for the longest time used to have these big motors with weights that would spin weights, and that's what gave you inside of it.
Oh.
That's what gave you the vibration.
Okay.
So now it's called a DualSense. It's not gonna have that anymore, Sean. It's not gonna have those rumble motors anymore.
Oh, so
It's
there
gonna
won't be any vibration at all.
They will, but it's gonna be much better because it's gonna be haptic feedback now. So
Haptic?
haptic feedback, it's called.
What's that?
I'm gonna explain it to you. Do you own an Apple or a phone that is relatively new?
My wife has a Google Pixel 3. Shout out to Google.
Okay,
If you're looking
yeah.
for anybody to sponsor on a podcast, Google.
Yeah, that's
Anyway.
right. Please contact us. ttalkproductions@gmail.com. Reach out to us. Yeah, so she has that. So she probably the main sort of, you know how every phone has like a menu button, the main button.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So in a Google Pixel 3, it's actually not a button. It feels 100% like a button, but it's not a button. If you shut it down and you try pressing it, you'll see that it's not a button. It's just that it vibrates just perfectly so that it makes you feel like it's a button. So that is what haptic feedback is. It's like really, it's a type of rumble too. It's a type of vibration, but it's a very specific, but because it's made up of tiny components that I'm not gonna get into right now.
But what a crazy thing! Like, think about that. Someone or multiple people, their whole life has been dedicated to a rumble.
Yeah, their whole work, right?
Like they're on some like lab, like, you know, I've got it, by golly, and they just come running out and anyway.
Presumably, by the way that you were saying, I got it. He's presumably some kind of German scientist, possibly a Nazi. So now the controller is going to have multiple levels of feedback or haptic feedback. For example, the triggers are going to become harder to pull depending on the game. The game developers will actually be able to customize how soft or hard are the triggers to pull. So for example, if you're playing a driving game, they, depending on the situation that the car is in, they might make the acceleration trigger a little bit harder to press.
Depending on if you're going faster and like, okay.
That's right. And then the analog sticks will also have when the steering becomes difficult because of the wheels, the analog sticks are gonna have a little bit of pressure to them, so they're also gonna be a little bit harder to pull.
Okay.
And then the vibration functionality is gonna be like all over the controller, as opposed to just being this thing that it was always like on. It's like vibration on or vibration off. That's it. This is gonna have more of a spectrum of vibration throughout the controller. So it's just like a more the developers are gonna be able to be a little bit more precise with the kind of feedback or off haptic feedback, that's how it's called, that they can give to the player now, as opposed to before, where it was just like I said, just either vibration on or off, and that's it. So that's why it's called a DualSense. Yeah, so also the controller, if you actually look at other controllers, you'll see that it's a big departure from the other previous controllers. But if you look at the PlayStation VR, you'll see that it actually looks exactly like a PlayStation VR headset. And I'm going to show that to you real quick, Sean, so that you know what I'm talking about.
I haven't really gotten much into VR.
Dude, I have. And it's amazing. Really? And I am saving to invest on it. And when I do, I'm gonna go big, bro. You just wait for it.
Like, what do you mean invest in it? Like, purchase equipment or invest in a company?
I'm gonna purchase the equipment. No. That's right. Good, because I guess that is a good. We need to differentiate. I will buy a VR suite that I'm putting together on Amazon. It's gonna be specifically for racing, so I'm gonna have you over when I have that.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, so let's check this out. Check my screen real quick. Look at that headset. Doesn't it look just like the controller in terms of like the colors?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, white, black, the blue lines. So that gives you an idea of how Sony's thinking about this. We can assume that the PS5 is gonna be, they're gonna design it heavily on the future of virtual reality.
Really?
I think so. I think that's why the controller looks the way it does. I think there's gonna be parity between how the controller looks, how the console looks, and how the VR headset looks, and there's a reason for that. As opposed to now, where the PSVR and the PlayStation 4, they look nothing alike.
So will they be like? So, because I haven't got into any VR at all. Is VR right now separate? Like, do I have a separate VR, kind of like the old, like wireless, game consoles, like the old Nintendo handheld? Is it separate than like the actual PlayStation 4?
Yes and no. So, as it is right now, VR headsets are not standalone. You either need a computer, or in the case of PlayStation VR, you need the PlayStation, because the thing that the headset is projecting is giving you the image, but what's processing that image in the case of the PSVR is a PS4. In the case of any other VR headset that you buy for computers, it's actually the computer that is processing the image, and through the cables it is fitting it to the headset that you're using.
Okay, let me ask you this. Do you remember when the Wii came out and everybody had the Wii? Everybody had the Wii. My grandma had a Wii. She didn't have
That's
Wii,
right. I like where you're going. I like where you're going with this.
But people like don't want to move when they're playing video games for the most part. Every once in a while, people want to do that, but for the most part, they just want something in their hands that they can, Do you think that the virtual reality thing will go that route?
I see. That's actually a very shrewd observation for someone that's not been into gaming for a while. But yeah, that is the question. I think the way that VR works now, many developers are actually being quite smart, and they're actually not making you move a lot. So the VR is just how you see the game, but you're still sitting down with a controller in your hand.
Oh, okay. See, I like that.
Some games are so that is really cool. So in the case, what I'm doing is that I got Gran Turismo for the PlayStation, and it has VR capabilities. So I'm gonna get the steering wheel. I'm gonna get a racing share. It's a share that kind of is set up for that you can like put the steering wheel and make it look like or be in a position like in a real car. And then you have the headset. So I'm actually playing with the steering wheel, right? But I have the headset that is gonna make me feel like I'm inside the car. I'm gonna be able to look like I'm inside the car. So that's all the headset is doing. That's right. Well, I do, but I can't drive the cars that I can drive in Gran Turismo.
Yeah, that's true.
And I can ride them as fast either. But anyway, so that's just an example, right? I don't have that yet. But probably I'll
you want
get
to,
that.
Yeah. That's cool, Abdul. That's nice.
Yeah. So I am actually the reason why I'm holding on a VR. I could have bought a VR unit a while ago, but I'm holding on to it because the way that VR units work right now is that they have all these cables that you have to hook up to either your computer or your PlayStation, like I said, right?
They're not wireless.
But recently, the Oculus, which is a company, it's a Facebook company, or it's a company that's underneath Facebook bought. They were the first one to come up with the VR headsets and whatnot, and everyone else just followed after them. They already released a headset not only without cables, but also that you don't need a computer or any kind of console. It works on its own, and it's called the Oculus Quest. But because the processing power is inside the headset is kind of heavy, and it's also the battery doesn't last too long, and the power is not that strong. So what I want is more of a headset that can stream the image from the console or from the PC, and that's what I think is gonna happen with the PS5. But anyway, moving on. I actually mentioned most of what I wanted to talk about the PS4, except the PS5 controller, the DualSense. Well, let's see. Let me check my notes real quick to see what I wanted to say. Oh, it's gonna have a built-in microphone too, so if you play with someone online, you can actually just talk to right through the controller.
Oh, okay. Instead of having to buy a separate unit or something.
Exactly.
headsets or something.
Which you'd think they would already have that, but they have not done that up until
Yeah,
now.
they probably didn't have space.
That's right. Yeah, that's a good question. That's actually that might be the case because they did say that this controller is bigger than previous controllers precisely because they needed to fit more technology inside of it. Hopefully, it's not too big.
Hopefully, our listeners like remote controls. Hopefully, that's their cup of tea.
That's right. That's right. Well, this would be for someone that would be interested in buying a PS5, really. Oh yeah, but what I wanted to say is that this is the real actual point that I wanted to bring up is that if you look at that design that you just saw, you see that it's simple, like you said, but it actually catches your eye quite a bit, right? Would you say, as opposed to
Very
just
sleek,
like a full, yeah, as opposed to just like a full black controller.
Yeah.
What I think that they're doing, the reason why they're going this route is also because I think they want to compete with Nintendo. Nintendo makes consoles for kids, and if you look at a Nintendo console, you know that because it has a lot of color.
Yeah.
Like the normal Nintendo Switch has a red and blue controllers on the side. So if you see that on a toy store, it fits completely in. So I think that the reason why Sony is comfortable doing this kind of design that is not colorful because it's white and black, but it stands out, is because they want to have that. They don't want to yield that ground to Nintendo to being the only console that's attractive to children. I think they're trying to appeal to kids too, because kids are gonna see. Imagine a kid seeing this console that looks from the future on a shelf. They're probably gonna be really attracted to it, you know.
Interesting.
So anyway, that's my 2 cents. But yeah, so moving on. How about you, Sean? What's on your mind?
I have two things. I'll try to be brief. Price gouging. Oh my gosh,
dude,
it makes me upset.
It.
So right now, previous to COVID-19, you could buy those adjustable Bowflex weights or any of those adjustable weights. You know, like dumbbells, and you could adjust them for about $250. If you go online right now to Craigslist or other sellers on Amazon, whatever, they are ranging from $1,200 to $1,450.
What?
That's like, I don't even calculate the percentage increase. What is that like? I don't know, 500%.
Yeah, that's about it. That's like 5 times the price. Yeah.
Man, it just upsets me. Like, and probably for our listeners out there, my favorite hobby of all of entertainment is not watching TV. It's not video games. It's weightlifting. I love weightlifting, and it just drives me crazy that all these gyms are closed. Hopefully that didn't sound a little pretentious. I hope that was like, oh, he likes to weightlift or whatever. But anyway, it's a form of entertainment, but people are selling these because the gyms are closed, right? And a lot of people don't own their own equipment, but they're sizable. Usually they're economic, and they can fit in anywhere, and you can adjust the sizes, the weight of it to what you need. So I reached out to a friend who had them, and I said, hey, bro, you should sell them. You can make an easy $1,000 on. He bought them for $250, the set. So
okay.
But he's gonna wait. He's gonna hold off because he'd rather have the weights and work out than make $1,000.
Well, yeah, I guess $1,000 doesn't really get you far nowadays.
Yeah.
So what are you? So okay. So this is an interesting piece of Tea Talk lore that Sean likes to work out, I guess. But no, yeah, we actually our audience might not know, or maybe they know, but we actually used to be roommates for a while, and we also worked together for a while, and we live in the same area for a while. And I remember that that you were into like CrossFit.
Yeah,
are you still
I was
into CrossFit, or is it just weightlifting now?
I like CrossFit ideology, and I'll still watch certain CrossFit things. I'm not recommending any of them, but I will take the workouts and from time to time use that. But I primarily do weightlifting now. I'm more just all around fitness than specific to CrossFit.
Okay. And what is it? You said that that is like your favorite entertainment, which I wouldn't call working out entertainment, but I guess it could be. My wife and I used to go to Planet Fitness, and I enjoyed going and working out and listening to music or listening to podcasts. Really, working out is the best way to listen to a podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Either working out or working around the house, right? But working out is the best because when you work around the house, you have to sometimes focus, so you can't really listen to what's happening. But
Yeah.
when it comes to exercising, because you're doing repetitive motions, you're not really thinking about it too much. You can pay attention to whatever it is that you're listening, whether it's a podcast or an audiobook. So I did listen to actually a full audiobook working out at one point back in the day. That was cool. But anyway, so what do you like? What is it that you like about working out that it makes it your favorite form of entertainment?
Man, it's a good stress reliever. I get to. I think. I mean, I was mainly talking about the price gouging, but
I know, but this is a conversational podcast, bro.
that's true. That's true. Yeah, I think it's just once you have it as a habit, like a real habit,
Mm-hmm.
it's not something you're gonna break. There's people who
Okay.
have like discs, their back is out, like they're still, they probably shouldn't be, but they're at least in the gym or doing laps or something. Like if it's a true habit, there's like nothing's gonna stop you from doing something.
Mm,
Um,
interesting.
I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's like brushing your teeth, right? Um,
I
it's
wouldn't
a
call
habit,
it.
and you always do it, and it's difficult to go to sleep if you haven't brushed your teeth. Like
Oh, I
it
see.
keeps you
Yeah,
awake. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
So like a habit, when something is a true habit, it kind of bothers you when you don't do it. So that's that feeling makes you want to do it.
hmm And it's even, I would even consider it a form of art. The way people can,
Okay. Well, what is
mm,
true? It is a competition. Weightlifting is a type of sport.
yeah, and not just weightlifting, but track, sports, anything like that, basketball, whatever. How people are able to train their bodies to do certain things, uh, it's amazing. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
I guess it would sort of technically probably fit into the category of a martial art, even though it's
I
not
see what you're
martial
saying.
arts.
Yeah, yeah,
But you
yeah.
see what I'm saying? But
hmm
the reason why martial arts are called martial arts is because they are a form of art.
Yeah.
But sports are the same because you're doing the same thing that you would do on a martial art, except you're not punching people. But
and
now that
oh, sorry, go for it. What were you gonna say?
no, what were you gonna say?
No, no, no.
Okay, no, please you go.
I was gonna go to the next point. My next.
Okay, I'm kidding. I was just messing. Okay. I hope
What
our
were you gonna
audience
say? What
enjoys
were
that.
you gonna say?
So, since we're talking about working out and all that, so my wife and I have also been trying to get into certain types of workouts here in the house because we've been indoors for a long time. It's been over a month now.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of start feeling anxious and whatnot. And like you said, working out or doing something physical, it's a form of stress relief. So my wife and I invented a sport, and we also bought Just Dance, which we're not gonna get into that.
Uh-huh.
But if you ever want to see me like dancing, I can't
That's a
even think
workout.
of that is a workout. Yeah,
You
but
get some cardio going.
that's right. But the dances are outrageous. But anyway, I'm glad no one's watching me. But the sport that we invented, and I think this is going to be interesting for our audience, we call it flu ball because
Oh.
it was invented during the flu. Um, and it's an offshoot of wall of handball. Handball. You know how handball with the wall.
Uh-huh.
So what we did is that we went to the backyard and we used some tape and we sort of a section of this. It's a little area, but it's enough for us to move around a lot.
Uh-huh.
And in that sport, you actually are moving. It's a lot like racquetball, but with your hand. So you're moving
Okay.
a lot. And so yeah, that's been pretty fun. I was meaning to send you some pictures and then a video of us playing it. It's pretty fun.
Please send me a video.
Yeah, I will go
I
ahead and
would
do that.
love to
The rules
watch it.
are that you have to hit you have to serve. You bounce the ball from the floor. You hit it with your hand. It has to hit the wall one time, hit the floor one time, and then the other person has to hit it. And then when they hit it, it has to hit the wall again, and then the floor, and then the other person has to hit it. and you go on and off like that, pretty much like racquetball.
Okay.
However, the wall portion and you can't hit the wall too low. We made it so that you can't do those shots where you hit it really hard, really low, and then it's like impossible for the other person to
get it back.
To get it back, right? So we actually took that out for two reasons. We put a piece of tape and we call that the red zone. And if you hit the red zone, then it's the point for the other person. So you actually can't do those low shots. And the reason why we did that is that for two reasons. One, so that the game goes longer, because that way the only part of the wall that you can hit it's so up
manageable
that
portion.
It's always manageable. It's always manageable for the other person to hit it. So we actually can keep the ball in play for a long time. But also we did that because since we're so close to the wall, because like I said, it's a small game, we don't have to bend our backs that much to get the ball from low, and that way we also protect our backs.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying?
You should do a YouTube how-to video on how to play it, and I bet I could see that catching on.
Okay, I'm gonna do it, bro. And I'm gonna put it on the TEA Talk.
Put it on, and I can see it totally. This is a game that will like, and then we'll call it what, flu ball. Okay, flu ball.
It was called Corona Ball in the first, and then we saw that flu ball roll out the tongue a little bit better.
Corona ball, flu ball. I could see either one working. Give Corona beer like something once again to be happy about. Like,
That's right. That's right. Let's even out the odds by giving.
Okay. One last point under this. Let me just get into it real quick. Okay. The movie Hail Caesar. It came out in 2016.
Dude, I was just gonna talk to you about that, and we saw it. But anyway, yeah, go.
But I had seen it a while ago, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the movie because I enjoy the production of movies, and it kind of gets like a little bit behind the scene of production of movies in like the 1950s, 40s, 60s.
1950s, yeah.
Yeah, and but anyway, I wanted to like shout out to the Cohen brothers, who I think they directed or wrote it, maybe both.
They directed it for sure. I don't know if they wrote it.
And but I didn't watch it. I don't think I watched it. I watched it prior to watching Han Solo or Solo, Star Wars. And Alden Ehrenreich, or however you say his name, is in it. Yeah. And he actually does an amazing job in this movie.
Isn't he good?
And I feel bad that like I hope Solo doesn't like derail his career a little bit, because he did a good job with Solo actually, and I think this guy's actually a really good actor. So
absolutely,
anyway,
absolutely. I don't think so. I don't think that movie damaged his career at all. I think he's good. He's good. I think we're gonna see him again.
Yeah. So anyway, it was just such a good movie.
It's so funny that you bring that up, because I saw that movie with my wife 2 days ago, and I just thought about you immediately. I was like, man, I have to talk to Sean about this movie because he's gonna love this movie because of what you said, because you like the production side of movies, and this movie goes into that in a funny way.
It's a comedy.
It's a comedy, and it's not a documentary, so they don't get technical, but they do show. I was fascinated to see. First off, Josh Brolin is the main character, and he's the producer for this studio, and he is a problem solver. He's in the movie, he's just putting out fires the entire time. Yeah. And if you've been in production of a movie, or even if you've sort of managed your own company or even your own laundry, you'll see that there's a lot of that involved. There's a lot of people management when you're in that position. There's a lot of problems that come up, and you have to sort of figure out how to solve them. And
there's a scene in that movie that still makes me laugh. So when he wants to see some footage of this movie that they're producing, right? The studio's making, and he goes into like the editor's studio, right? And back then it was all film, and it's depicting that, right? And it's like this older woman who apparently, like a lot of the editors back in the day were women. A lot of people don't know that, but anyway, and so he goes in and she's like chain smoking, and she's got this long scarf on, and like, do you remember what scene I'm talking about?
Yeah,
he's watching it, and like as he's watching it, like all of a sudden, like the video he's watching goes like all black or something, and he's like, "What's going on?" And he looks, and she's like choking on on the film reel. It's like it as you describe it, it doesn't sound super funny, but like the timing of their cuts and how it's filmed, it's comedic genius. It's a really good.
It absolutely is. I totally know what you're saying. Yeah, because her scarf gets stuck on the film reel. What's that called? The film.
Yeah, yeah.
Whatever's spinning the film. So she's choking on her own scarf. So she's like she tells Josh Brolin to like rewind the film so that then her scarf goes back, and they're able to do that. And then she's just like, I shouldn't wear scarves in this job.
Yeah, and then she keeps working.
She goes back to smoking, and like because back in the day, in the 1950s, safe work practices were not a thing. So,
right.
Okay. Anyway, moving on.
Oh man, what are you up to? Do you want me to go first, Abdiel?
I guess I'll go. Yeah, because you go.
Okay, you go.
You just went with your thing. So
go for it.
I'm thinking how I'm going to approach this subject because I really I want to do it justice. I want to do it justice. So I saw a movie recently with my wife. We rented it. It's a movie that my wife wanted to see for a long time. I wasn't very interested in it until I saw a trailer for it, and then I was like immediately like, I have to watch this movie. The movie is called It's a little movie called Little Woman.
Is it the remake?
The remake, yeah, the newest one, the 2019 one.
Who's the star? I can't remember.
You have some A-listers. You have Laura Dern. She plays Purple Lady in Star Wars episode.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Uh-huh.
There's Meryl Streep is in it.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Chris Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the main character is played by Saoirse Ronan. Saoirse. My wife just totally corrected me.
I have no idea who that is.
Saoirse Ronan.
What is she in? Is she in other things?
I can't remember where she's in. I don't know if I've ever seen her before, but she does a fantastic job. But then the real star of the show, in my opinion, it's my boy Timothée Chalamet. He plays the character Theodore Lawrence, aka Laurie. They call him Laurie. The main character is called Joe March, and I mentioned those names because we're gonna go into those characters in a little bit. So Timothée Chalamet, he is a British actor. I think he's like 50% French or something like that. That's why his name is actually French, and it's pronounced. I literally googled this. Like for his name, I was concerned in how to pronounce it correctly. It's not pronounced Timothy. It's pronounced Timothée Chalamet. Something like that, but then think about someone saying that in with a French accent, and that's how it's pronounced. So anyway, so he's gonna be. So you might be thinking, who's this guy? He has been in a few movies, where he's done a fantastic job. I'm gonna let people Google that on their own. But the big movie that he's gonna be in, that is gonna be coming out really soon, it's Dune. He's gonna play. Yes, okay. He's gonna play Paul Atreides, the main character. Great casting choice, by the way. But anyway, so this movie is about a woman trying to make it on her own as a writer. She's very talented, and she is actually quite successful throughout the movie. She doesn't want to get married because she doesn't want... put it simply, she doesn't want her things and herself to belong to anyone else. And back in those days, if a woman married, like her entire bank account went to the husband. That's how it worked. And that's one thing that she definitely in the movie doesn't like the idea about. But also, more importantly, she doesn't like the idea of not being able to pursue her interests in life. She doesn't like the idea of becoming sort of as a housewife and foregoing or not foregoing, but jeopardizing her talent as a writer. That's the gist of it. But now I'm going to go into two scenes that I thought were very powerful in the movie. The entire movie is very well acted. The soundtrack is good. It's shot very well. It's very exciting, the entire thing. It's totally in a non-linear fashion. And however, it's not really confusing. Only on the very beginning I was a little bit confused, but then not anymore. So the timing goes. You have some scenes that happen in the future, other like in the past, or others in the present, and so on and so forth. And there are two moments. People that like this movie already know about it, and people this movie is based on a book. A fun fact is that the previous version of this movie, yeah, I guess you could call it the previous version, right? The one that came out in the 90s. The character that is played in this one by Timothy Chalamet is played in the old one by Christian Bale, if you can believe it or not.
Mm-hmm. I don't even think that's the oldest one.
No, yeah, that's right. It's not. It isn't. I call it the
Yeah.
old one because the one previous to this one, then
Right,
the 90s,
right.
the one that came out in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, there's two very powerful moments that I want to share with you, and I want to see how you feel about it.
And I'm on pins and needles, Abdiel. Share them.
What does that mean, pins and needles? I don't know English.
Like I'm excited.
Okay,
I'm anticipating.
so real quick. So the scene has two characters in it. Joe March, again played by Saoirse, and Laura Dern, which plays Joe March's mother. So it's daughter and mother talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And she's talking about let's see how. Well, anyway, I'm not gonna get into it. I'm just gonna go straight for it. So the line is given by Joe March, and she says, and I'm gonna read. She says, "Women, they have minds, and they have souls, as well as just hearts, and they've got ambition, and they've got talent, as well as just beauty. And I'm so sick of people saying that love is just all a woman is fit for. I'm so sick of it. But I'm so lonely." Ooh, that ending is so good. Isn't it powerful? Ooh. Isn't that good? That my wife actually researched that. That's actually from another book by the same writer. And they just incorporated that.
Is
line.
The writer a man or a woman?
It's a woman.
Okay.
And it's so good.
I don't know much about for our listeners. I don't know much about Little Women, and I've seen the movie once or twice.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, I'm a fan now. But anyway, so it's so first off, what do you think about that before I try to break it down? Maybe you already got it and I don't need to break it down.
Oh man.
What do you understand by that line?
I'm not going to generalize. I'm not going to be specific towards women. I'm going to generalize it for all humans.
Okay.
Maybe because I'm a guy.
Okay.
Just to be more
on the safe
friendly
side
for our listeners.
Yeah.
I think we're all very complex people, and it's obviously in that context, right? Women didn't have certain rights to explore certain ambitions and what have you, and I think that's an interesting line that love's it's still a part of us, right? That we want, we have that desire to be
loved.
To be loved. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's very good. And what I like about it is that through the entire line that I just read, she is expressing her feelings, or not just her feeling, but sort of her principle that she lives by, right? But then right in the end, she says, "But I'm so lonely," meaning that she's trying to live her life sticking to her principles, but sticking to those principles is taking a toll on her. Is basically what she's trying to say. Yeah. Like, you get it?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is also something that anyone can relate to, because sometimes sticking to your principles is it can be difficult. But in this case, she also what you said is really has to do more with what's happening in the movie. Being loved and loving is nothing. There's nothing wrong with that. Getting married, there's nothing wrong with that, and she understands that. The character knows that. It's just that because of what you said, because of the circumstances of the time, from her point of view, she just had to sacrifice so much in order to give in into her desire to love and be loved. But anyway, so that was the scene, very powerful. And the other one is by my boy Timothée, who plays the character Laurie, and he says this in this scene. There's two characters as well, only two. It's Laurie and Joe March. So the character that said the line that I just read before, right? So his character Laurie tells the character, the other character Joe March, which Joe March is the main character. And what's happening, a little bit of the context is that Timothy, Laurie, he is in love with her from the very beginning, and she also has feelings for him, but they're not the same. He's kind of in the friend zone.
Does he want to be in the friend zone, or he like you said he loves her?
He loves her. He wants to be he wants to marry her.
This is a scene with boy and girl.
Boy and girl.
Boy likes girl. Girl doesn't like guys much. Okay.
As much, exactly. Yeah. But she does like him because the scene that I just read to you from the girl, the reason why she says that to her mom is because she regrets not being with him earlier, and that's why she says that line to her mom. But anyway, so this scene that I'm about to read to you happens earlier in the movie. And it happens because Timothy expresses her love or Laurie expresses his love for Joe March, but Joe March is like, no, I don't really see you that way. I don't want to get married. And she tells him, in fact, I don't think I'll ever get married. So Laurie tells her, I think you will marry Joe, and you'll live and die for them because that's your way, and I'll watch. Oof. Many men out there have been in that situation. So what's interesting about that scene?
Do they get together? Do they get together?
No, they don't. They don't.
Does she marry anybody?
She doesn't marry in the movie anybody, but she does allude to that she does like this one guy, and that probably she's gonna marry him later on. But that's actually left to interpretation. And I don't want to get into too much into it because the movie is also the entire movie. It's a book that Joe March wrote. That's called Little Woman. Joe March wrote a book about her life, and that's what you're seeing in the movie. And when she, in one of the awesomest scene in the movie too, when she actually negotiates with a publisher about the book, and the negotiation scene is really cool, and I love negotiation scenes. The writer, the publisher is like, you have to make the main character Joe March, he has to get married, because if he doesn't get married, the book is not gonna sell. Yeah. And she's like, no, but she doesn't get married. She doesn't want to get married, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, she has to get, either she gets married or I'm not going to publish it. And she's like, okay, fine. She'll get married. So you don't know, did she get married? Did she just say that because of the book? You don't know. But anyway, so this line with Laurie, what's happening here is that she tells him the old line, that it's not you, it's me line. It's not that I don't like you, it's just that I don't want to get married, right? But Laurie knows better, and he's like, no, that's actually the reason why you don't want to get married with me is because I have failed to sort of bring those feelings from you. And that's why he said his line, and then he finishes with saying, I'll watch, because he knows that eventually she's gonna get married, and he's gonna he's gonna see how that train is gonna leave the station.
Can I derail you a little bit, Abdiel? I don't know how much.
Absolutely,
go
Absolutely.
down this road. So
yeah, we're about to finish anyway.
Okay, I was talking about this some time ago, a few years back with someone, and you bring up a good point. How, and this happens to both guys and girls, right? Where maybe a guy's interested in a girl, and she's not that interested in him. Vice versa, right? That's right. The girl's interested in a guy, and he's not that interested in her. But as you look back, and I think, for the most part, if you make good decisions in life, as you look back, you recognize that those things you thought were really good, or you thought, that would be a perfect storybook ending, was actually like a gunshot to the head. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you dodged a bullet.
You dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So it's funny that you say that, because the book and the movie, they actually do. Because they don't explore that route, right? Because the movie, she shuts him down. But through the lines of the movie, they what's the word that I'm looking for here? They let you know that what was going to be their future. They were actually going to hate each other eventually. Yeah. Because the thing that about those two characters is that they were too much alike. They were free spirits, and they both had like a little bit of temper to them and whatnot. So they do sort of kind of.
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that discussion. I did not see you going down that road. I didn't even. I chose not to look at your notes this time. So
Okay, good.
That was I kind of enjoyed that little sideball there.
Yeah, and I just want to say too that this is like really my kind of movie. I love movies like this that have well thought out lines. Most movies don't have meaningful dialogue or a meaningful script, and of course, this movie is based off a book, and books often have good lines and have good dialogue because that's if they don't have that, then what else do they have?
Yeah.
But I like it, and I wanted to say too before we move on about the negotiation scene. I love negotiation scenes in movies in general. I love that. It's so intense and so real. And one of a shout out to Bridge of Spies with Tom Hanks. His character is a negotiator, and throughout the movie he just negotiates all the time. But it's not negotiating like business wise. It's not World War, but it's the what's it called, the Cold War era negotiations. So
yeah,
really high stakes. So it's really cool. So there's a really awesome scene in this movie, like I said, with Joe March negotiating with the book publisher. That's really cool. But anyway, I hope our like you said, I hope our listeners enjoy that.
This is a very varied episode. I'm curious to see how it's received. Okay, I'll be super brief. I don't want to. I'm trying to stay under an hour here. Okay. My next, what am I up to? I got an email. As I opened up my email, it was from DJI, which is a drone company, right? The biggest drone company in the world.
Sorry to interrupt you, but this is what you're looking forward to, right? What you're looking forward to?
Yes.
Section.
Yes.
Okay, that's right. Not what are you up to, but where are you looking forward to?
No.
Okay.
You could. Yeah. I merged the two, so to speak. But anyway.
Okay.
So as I open up this email, you see a picture, and maybe many of our listeners got the same picture. There's a drone, but you can't tell which type of drone it is, and it says April 27th, up your game. You get it? Play on words. Up your game. Drones go up your game.
Yeah.
Woo!
Little pun.
So for those who don't know how DJI works, they have several series of drones, and even within series, they have like other sub series. They have a monopoly, so they could do whatever they want, basically. For those people who say there's no digital cameras out there, like people don't buy digital cameras anymore, false. Totally false. Completely true. They don't buy digital cameras that you hold with their hands. They buy digital cameras nowadays that fly up in the air. That's what they buy. So that market has been absorbed into the drone market, and DJ has several like series. They have like hobbyists. They have maybe like semi-hobby, professional, pro hobbyist, and then they have professional drones. So you can buy a drone today for like $400 that has 4K, great remote, the DJI Spark, the Mavic Airs. They're up like 5 to 7. Then you can go up. You can buy a drone for like $20,000, and that would be like a drone that big budget films use, and Star Wars and Disney and all those people they use those kind of drones. But anyway, so I'm looking forward to that. That'll be
cool, an
exciting thing. I'm a little leery from what I've read that I think it's another Spark, which is like their consumer. I'm not gonna buy it. I was looking forward to having like a more pro consumer series come out, but alas, I don't think that's what it is.
Okay, and okay, cool. And which one is that? When do you buy the drone that you currently have? How old is it?
It's 3 years old, 2 years, 3 years old.
3 years old. Yeah. So you're looking into upgrading.
My drone crashed a few years ago, a year and a half ago maybe, and then I had the refresh package. You can buy like $100 refresh package, and all you do, you just ship your drone in, and they'll ship you a new one. They're either repair it or ship it back. So after that happened, I realized that I probably should have a backup drone. So I'm looking to get a backup drone, but I also
That's smart.
You know, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We have to get some other equipment too. We got to get some camera equipment that I want to upgrade my wife's stuff that she's got.
Okay, cool. Well, I don't really have anything else to add. Not really looking forward to anything. I'm looking forward to the Corona ending. That's the only
You know
thing
what I'm looking forward to?
to.
I want the national parks to be opened again. I want to go out for a good hike.
Yeah.
Whenever that happens, we got to go hiking.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm just looking forward in general to just be able to go out and visit friends and go to the movies and just live normal life.
Yeah.
But definitely going to national parks is going to be one of those. Yeah, thankfully my wife and I were actually able to go to which one was the park that we went to last? Muir Woods. We went to Muir Woods, and we went to Muir Woods like a week or two, maybe less, maybe like a week. Like a few days before the shelter-in-place started, so we were.
And they closed them down.
And then they closed them down. So thankfully, we were able to get that. But
Yeah, my wife and I we did an 11-mile hike the Saturday before they closed the national parks. And we've been itching to do it again. It was
11 miles. How long did that take you?
4 hours. We did it in 4 hours.
Okay. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, when we went, we it was like half that amount. So we finished in like 2 hours or so. But yeah, it was good. Yeah. It was good. Okay, well, Sean, this has been a good episode of Tea Talk Plus. You have a new equipment. I am still learning how to use my equipment. So hopefully this episode is gonna have better audio,
clean, crisp audio.
That's right. Okay, well, everyone. No, go ahead.
No, go for it, Abdiel.
Yeah, well, everyone, thank you for listening. Everyone that has reached out to us through different means to encourage us to continue, and everyone that has given us good reviews on Apple and Google. I've seen a few reviews already. Thank you for that support. We really appreciate it. Thank you for listening to us. And see you on our next episode.
Looking forward to it.
Bye.
We're sad to